everybody. It is LTL time. Nice to see everybody here. I am in shock. I am confused. I'm a loss for words. I don't know what is going on in our justice system. I don't know what's going on with juries. I don't know what went on with this jury. What did they see? I mean, we meticulously went through these videos, and the names that came up the most were Kingsley, Galliher, Kieffer. Remember the last stream I did before the verdict came out? We went through it. JB Nicholas broke the video down in extremely awesome detail. And those are the three names I heard the most. And you have Kieffer, Galliher walks, Kieffer walks, and you have Kingsley that gets 25 years. But we're going to go through this tonight. We're going to listen to the verdict. We're going to listen to a report from JB Nicholas because he was in the court during the entire trial. We're going to hear comments from the family. And if I have time, we're going to play comments from Robert Brooks's father. It was a pretty lengthy interview that he did, and I want to hear that. So it's nice to see everybody. I see some channel members here. I see some moderators. Happy Thursday to you. Let's check the chat and see what everybody's doing, see who's checking in and what everybody has to say. Let's see. Lulu Bell says, I'm looking forward to the stream. I wish we had good news. This should have been an open and shut case. What was this jury watching? What was this jury watching? Gwen says, you know, the case is closed with the wrong results. I hope you have some good news. I wish I had good news, but I don't. I don't. And Diamond says it's an injustice at its finest. It's a grave injustice. It's a grave injustice. Debbie says that they should have all been convicted. Denise, injustice. Absolutely. Hawks fan checking in. So disgusting. Cops investing cops. Go figure. A thin blue line tyrant runs thick. Absolutely does. Absolutely does. Christy's here. Hello, Christy. Nice to see you. Sue is in the house. Nice to see you. Says it was so wrong. Such an injustice. Absolutely. Lulu Bell, terrible. Mary's in the house. She said, did they show the verdict being read? Yes. We have video of that. And I tried to clean it up. The audio inside the courtroom was horrible, but we're going to watch that. It's about 24 minutes. We're going to go through that. Then I want to get to the report from JB Nicholas on his channel because he was sitting in court during the trial, and he can give you a little bit of a rundown of what he feels what went wrong, and we'll go through that. So yeah, I don't understand either, Tammy. I don't understand it. I don't either. But let's do this. Let's get into the verdict video. I'm going to pull that up. Let me just share my screen here. And again, I tried to clean it up the best that I could. And but we'll play through this. I'll turn caps on so we can hear what's going on in the court. All right, let's sit back and hear the verdict.
Also, absolutely understand that you're not that news stories. We're all going to speak about the lives. And I think you do so many things. You're just joking.
Why would they? You got to start asking yourself, why would they? They know that they would be scrutinized. There is a lot of people that are angry in that area, in and around that area. Why would they show their face? They would be scrutinized. They would be scrutinized. They got this wrong. In my opinion, this is an absolute injustice. Absolute injustice. All right, let's play this verdict here. And again, I apologize. The audio was terrible, but we'll try to make our way through it.
Please be seated.
All right, so in the matter of the legal against Kingsley, the jury having returned verdicts of guilty, Kingsley's bail will hereby be revoked. The matter will be scheduled for sentencing now on December 16th at 9:30 a.m. Between now and then, Kingsley probation will be up to the jail to speak with you to prepare your pre-sentence investigation. I will rely on that in part in determining the appropriate sentence in your case, so we make sure you are cooperative with them. With respect to the remaining defendants, been acquitted, you're hereby discharged, so here you go. So anything from either side? Anything else? Thank you.
I apologize. This is not the right video. Hang on one second. I don't know if they played the verdict. Did I get the right video? Hang on a second here. Let's see. I got it now. This was the after video. I apologize. I'm going to play this one after because it has the extended videos. I put up the wrong video. Let's see. Here's the verdict. Horrible video. Horrible audio again. Sorry about that. Video I had extended interviews that I wanted to play.
Jury enter.
Good morning and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I now receive your vote indicating you've reached a verdict. At this time, the clerk of the court will take your verdict. At first, we'll begin with the verdict as to the people against David Kingsley.
Ms. Foreperson, has the jury agreed upon a verdict in the case of the people of the state against David Kingsley? As to count one, murder in the second degree, what is the jury's verdict? As to count two, manslaughter in the first degree, what is the jury's verdict? Members of the jury, your foreperson has announced.
So now they've got Kingsley. They've got Kingsley. So if you're watching this live, you've got to be feeling good about this, that they're going to get Galliher and they're going to get Kieffer. You got to be feeling good about this at this point. So here we go.
The following
It didn't turn that way.
Count one, murder in the second degree, guilty. Count two, manslaughter in the first degree, guilty. Members of the jury, are those your verdicts?
If anyone said no just now, please raise your hand. Seeing no hands raised, does either side wish the jury to hold?
No, Your Honor. No, Your Honor.
All right, we'll then proceed with respect to the matter of the people against Mathew Galliher.
Ms. Foreperson, has the jury agreed upon a verdict in the case of the people of the state of New York against Mathew Galliher? As to count one, murder in the second degree, what is the jury's verdict? Not guilty. As to count two, manslaughter in the first degree, what is the jury's verdict? Not guilty. As to count
He had a gap
gain
in the
assault in
courtroom.
the second degree, what is the jury's verdict? Not guilty. Members of the jury, your foreperson has announced the following verdicts. Count one, murder in the second degree, not guilty. Count two, manslaughter in the first degree, not guilty. Count three, gang assault in the second degree, not guilty. Members of the jury, are those your verdicts?
If anyone said no just now, will you please raise your hand? Seeing no hands raised, I'll inquire as to whether either side wishes the jury to be polled.
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor. Very good. We'll then proceed with taking the verdict.
Now here's the thing. You got to start thinking, if you're the other COs that took deals, are you wondering, I should have took this to a jury trial. I probably would have had a chance of getting off and getting my name cleared and being acquitted. I mean, that's probably what's going through their head. This is insane.
People against Nicholas.
Ms. Foreperson, has the jury agreed upon a verdict in the case of the people of the state of New York against Nicholas Kieffer? As to count 1, murder in the second degree, what is the jury's verdict? As to count 2, manslaughter in the first degree, what is the jury's verdict? As to count 3, gang assault in the second degree, what is the jury's verdict? As to count 4, offering a false instrument for filing in the first degree, what is the jury's verdict? Members of the jury.
He falsified reports. He went through his report 4 or 5 times and ran through it with his superiors to write a false documentation about this incident. And the jury is saying that he's not guilty of that. He wrote many drafts. I want to learn about this jury. I want to learn about the area where this jury was picked out of. I want to learn the connection to this prison. If this is such a tight-knit community, that possibly could be, all those family connections. Someone knows someone that knows somebody of these guys. Maybe that's it. I don't know, but it's such an injustice.
The foreperson has announced the following verdicts. Count 1, murder in the second degree, not guilty. Count 2, manslaughter in the first degree, not guilty. Count 3, gang assault in the second degree, not guilty. Count 4, offering a false instrument for filing in the first degree, not guilty. Members of the jury, are those your verdicts?
Yes.
If anyone said no, will you please raise your hand? Seeing no hands raised, beside the side, wish to report the fact. So I'm going.
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Very good. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes your jury service. On behalf of this community, you ably served on
Hopefully the makeup of the
This
jury.
has been a difficult case for everyone involved. It is evident you put an awful lot of work into it. You have our gratitude. All the rules you've been operating under up to this point are hereby lifted. If you wanted to, you could talk to people about the case now with your services committee. But you would also absolutely understand you not have to do so. You're welcome to seek to go back to their lives. And I think they should do so with the thanks of this court. You are discharged.
Yeah. I mean, Jason, you make a good point. See, this is a good point right here. Jason makes a good point. Failure to intervene in falsifying reports. Basically, the way that it stands in this case right now, the way that the jury took this information, the way that the jury went through this information and came to the conclusion, and Jason's got an excellent point. Now you're basically telling the general public in the state of New York that failure to intervene in any beating or murder and falsifying reports is now basically legal. And I get what he's saying here. Basically legal in the state of New York. That's what you're telling the general public. That you can go out and take part of a beating and murder a man, falsify a report at work, and you could be acquitted. You could be acquitted. And we meticulously went through that video. These are the 3 names that came up the most, besides Anzalone. But these guys, we watched their movements. They were all involved. They held Brooks down. They beat on Brooks. They punched Brooks. They choked Brooks. And you got 2 guys now that are free and clear that probably was some of the most egregious ones. Kingsley was very egregious as well, too. I don't get it. I don't understand. What is the disconnect with this jury? What are they watching? These guys were caught on video, literally murdering someone. And we're saying it's okay. And Fitzpatrick said it. You have the human element to intervene. It doesn't matter about your position. It doesn't matter about your rank. It doesn't matter who your boss is. It's with what is inside of you to use your moral compass and step up and say, wait a minute, stop. This is wrong. And Fitzpatrick did an amazing job prosecuting this case. And my heart goes out to him. My heart goes out to the Brooks family. My heart goes out to the community that stood behind this family. And basically, these two monsters are going to walk. They did. They walked. All right, let's finish this out, and then we'll go to interviews. I have Fitzpatrick and some of the defense attorneys as well, too.
Please be seated.
All right, so in the matter of the people against David Kingsley, the jury having returned verdicts of guilty, Kingsley's bail will hereby be revoked. The matter will be scheduled for sentencing now on December 16th at 9:30 a.m. Between now and then, Kingsley probation will be up to the jail to speak with you, prepare your pre-sentence investigation. I will rely on that in part in determining an appropriate sentence in your case, so we make sure you are cooperative with.
So true, Mary.
Respect to the remaining defendants, then acquitted, hereby discharged and free to go. So anything from either side? Anyone have anything else? Thank you.
I agree, mostly. All right, let's go to the video. I'm going to switch over here. We'll play interviews from Fitzpatrick. We have a couple of defense attorney interviews as well. I'm going to speed up and get to Fitzpatrick. I feel so bad for this guy and the passion in what he prosecuted this case with.
I respect the jury's verdict. Obviously, the two gentlemen that were acquitted, I felt differently, but I respect the jury's verdict. And now we'll see what the United States Attorney does with them.
You described the three of them as defendants as part of a violent gang, a welcoming committee. And now to see two of them acquitted, one of them, David Kingsley, who was convicted on both of those counts.
Right. I just heard that. Yep.
Do you feel some level of justice has been served here?
We went into this case with the idea immediately that four people had to be held accountable for Robert's death. All four of them will now be serving lengthy prison sentences. That's Mr. Farina, Mr. Kingsley, Mr. Anzalone, and Mr. Galliher. When we looked at the tape for the first time, those were the individuals. We offered the two gentlemen that were acquitted lesser charges. They felt that they were not going to plead to anything. And at this point, they've been successful.
Where do you think your prosecution's case wasn't successful on those two defendants?
I have zero regrets about the prosecution's case. I had an incredible team. State police were fantastic in investigating the case. There's a single thing I could have presented to that jury to make them to make it more clear about the involvement of the two defendants. They disagreed, and that's life.
You're looking at 7 out of 10 guilty pleas. I mean, taking a step back, is that satisfying to you?
What I'm most gratified about is the intensity that my team put into the case while, I might say, running a completely separate office west of here. I'm very proud of them, very proud of the state police and the job that they did. But you had two very good lawyers, actually 4 very good lawyers that represented these two gentlemen, and they worked hard, they worked fairly, they worked ethically, and the jury spoke, and I have zero criticism of the jury's verdict.
Will you appeal?
I would love to, but since 1783, we have been unable to appeal a acquittal. But it's not the end for Mr. Galliher and Mr. Anzalone, and I don't mean to throw gas on the fire, but the United States Attorney for the Western District is investigating this case, and they will proceed.
Welcome.
What tone does this set for the mid-state COs?
I'm sorry?
What tone does this set now for the mid-state COs?
For the which COs?
Mid-state.
The Nantwich.
So I'm saying this week,
By a tweet.
I don't think it has any effect on that.
That's the next one we're going to be watching here. Messiah tweet. It's the same thing. Same thing. Bunch of prison guards beat him up, killed him, murder him.
A separate case. Some people may be emboldened by the 2 acquittals. Some people may feel that with the murder verdict against Mr. Kingsley, they might want to reconsider their position, but that's up to them.
You have an amazing track record of guilty convictions. What does this do for your body of work?
I hope people look at the amount of effort I put into the case and appreciate it, and remind people that, in addition to Mr. Kingsley, we have received substantial pleas on a multiple number of other people. When this case started, I knew a lot of people thought that this would be resolved by a bunch of resignations and official misconducts and probations. It didn't turn out that way.
Last question for me. What should the prison system take away from what you've learned, what you've discovered?
The governor has had a number of conversations with me. I don't purport to be an expert on penal law, running a penal system, but there's some things here that are obvious that need.
He's in shock, just like all of you. I mean, he is in shock. I mean, you could see it on his face. Just like, what is this jury looking at? I don't get it. I don't get it.
Changed, and she's indicated a willingness, at least to me, to address those, and I think she will.
Do you have 1 or 2?
Well, there's got to be, in my judgment, there needs to be a specialized bureau within the Attorney General's office that deals with all assaults in prison, not just on inmates, but on corrections officers as well.
Thank you, Bill.
Do you think anything that's in these laws and these charges should change?
There needs to be a specific statute that deals with duty of care regarding a corrections officer. I thought I made it clear in this case that was such a...
All right, as you can see there, we have a mixed verdict here. We have one of the corrections officers guilty of murder, the other 2 found not guilty. Again, David Kingsley is the one who was found guilty of murder and guilty of manslaughter. You have Mathew Galliher and Nicholas Kieffer found not guilty. We were trying to effort Andrew Donovan, who was in the hallway there waiting for more reaction. That's now pouring out of the court.
Why would you walk away from that interview? This guy's like mid-sentence. See you later.
Room. This verdict came down, I would say, about 15 minutes ago. This was entering its 3rd week, this trial. This was the 4th day of deliberations. And now it looks like some of the defense lawyers are now coming out. Let's check back in.
I'm very appreciative of how the jury was and how they actually took their time to do their job and everything like that. I do want to show my remorse for the family. What happened to them was not something that a family should go through. I've been very appreciative of what the jury did and how they were able to deliberate and find me not guilty.
You've had your family here all.
In the court of public opinion, he may not be convicted, but I'm telling you, the court of public opinion, this guy will wear a scarlet letter for the rest of his life, and he should. And to sit here and go, oh, hey, I'm sorry. This is not what should have happened. Fuck you, bullshit. You took part of this and you got lucky, buddy. You got a jury you got really lucky with that jury. Really lucky with that jury.
Along, what's that support been like?
That's the most amazing support. Just because they're in the courtroom doesn't mean they're not supporting me. I've got hundreds of people supporting me, and I'm so appreciative of them. And I had to keep my faith this whole time.
What did it feel like being in there as the verdict was being read out?
Well, as you can see, it was a very emotional part of my life, and I just want to get past it now.
What's next for you?
Going home and hug my family. That's the first thing I'm going to do.
Is this what you were expecting?
Robert Brooks didn't have that opportunity. Robert Brooks would have been set to release out of prison in 2026, but he'll never have that opportunity to do that. He'll never have the opportunity to do that. Kieffer can go home and hug his family, but Robert Brooks' family will never have the opportunity to ever hug him again. He's dead. And he was there. and he took part.
There was no inspection out of this. It was up to them, and I can't see what's in their minds.
How have you gotten through this?
Support my family, that's it. Family, friends, and everything else.
Mr. Fitzpatrick mentioned the possibility of federal jeopardy for the Western District. Is this something that they've reached out to either of you about?
I have reached out on behalf of Mr. Kieffer with respect to the potential federal prosecution. I hope that they have paid attention to what this jury had decided. I think the jury spent, a solid 2.5, 3 days deliberating on this matter, and they reached the proper conclusion. Mr. Kieffer has maintained his innocence right from day one, and his story has not changed at all. When I first met with Mr. Kieffer day one, the first thing he said to me is how he feels so terrible for the Brooks family. This is a tragedy. However, Mr. Kieffer did not participate in Mr. Brooks's death.
You got an acquittal without calling a single witness. The defense, all the way through, not calling a single witness. How does that? What do you want us to ascertain from that?
Well, we've maintained all along that the evidence that the special prosecutor had, his whole office was fantastic. They disclosed every ounce of evidence they had. We have been able to scrutinize that evidence very, very closely. And when we reviewed the videos when they were first released to the public, it clearly showed that Mr. Kieffer was not an active participant in this. There was certainly some non-compliance by the late Mr. Brooks. My client acted appropriately under policy and procedure. And then, as we said in our opening and our closing, after that minimum application of pepper spray, there was not one finger laid on Mr. Brooks again. We did enter in and out of that treatment room for seconds, merely seconds, but he did not touch Mr. Brooks at all. He never would have touched me. He wouldn't touch any inmate inappropriately. He's never done that. Everybody has heard the testimony loud and clear of the sergeant, Glenn Trombley, who said in the 10 years that he has worked with Mr. Kieffer, he has never seen Mr. Kieffer get angry. And if there was any application of pepper spray used, there had to be a good reason for it. And I think the jury found that out.
Do you feel judged at all by the public? Has your life been?
Yes, my life was turned upside down from this. 100%.
Members of the public have.
You get to go home and Robert Brooks is dead. Your life was so turned upside down. The public scrutiny. Like I said, public opinion will get this guy for the rest of his life. He'll wear a scarlet letter. Believe me. People will remember this.
Spoken to you in the store, in life?
Honestly, not really. I've just I don't know how to answer that, to be honest.
Do you have any comment on your peer's verdict of guilty for Mr. Kingsley?
No comment.
Neither do I. No comment on Mr. Kingsley. I do think that it's a contradictory verdict, given the states of mind that you need for both those charges, but that would be for his attorneys to evaluate.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you think the video helped or hurt your case in this situation?
From day one, I've always maintained the position, and as my client, that the videos actually vindicate my client. We are sorry we didn't have the videos from the time Mr. Brooks first arrived at the Mercy Correctional Facility, because then the whole story would have been on video. But the portions of the video that we did receive certainly vindicated my client, and we felt that was a big part of our defense, which is why we went through methodically with the jury, playing all the different segments and sections. Thank you.
What does this case mean for the Corrections Department? The indictment, it alleged a gang conspiracy in a welcoming committee. What does this verdict say about the job of the Corrections Department?
I can't speak for corrections anymore, so.
That is non-existent. That is non-existent in the Mercy Correctional Facility. There is no welcoming committee. As you've heard through the testimony, the COs, they work, so the shifts are so different. It's not a Monday through Friday 9 to 5 job. They'll be working 18 hours on a Monday, 18 hours on a Wednesday. They won't work Thursday. They're working 8 hours on a Friday. They're always working with different people. There is no gang mentality. I say that with the utmost respect. The special prosecutor obviously laid out a fantastic case. We've been sitting on pins and needles.
Sergeant Trombley seemed to trash some of the system, and I just wonder, from your firsthand knowledge, is there anything you'd change about the system as someone that worked there?
Unfortunately, I don't think my client is in a position where he can change it. I think that's going to start from the top on the way down. I think.
I don't advocacy from the bottom can change things.
It's possible, you're right, and I don't mean to discount that, but I think the powers to be, the higher ranking politicians, starting from the governor on the way down, have to do a very serious study within the Department of Corrections, and that's where the change is going to have to start, I believe.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna I have that queued up. I have his video queued up. We're gonna go through that because he dropped a video, and I've been kind of following his reporting through this case too. So yeah, we're gonna play that. Okay, let's play.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much.
Again, that was Nicholas Kieffer, one of the defendants, found not guilty today in Oneida County by a jury. The other former correction officer, Mathew Galliher, also found not guilty on murder and manslaughter. You're looking at the charges now. The sole defendant that was found guilty, David Kingsley, he's been found guilty of murder and manslaughter. This case, 3 weeks going into the third week. This was the fourth day of deliberations. I would say about 10:15 was the time the jury came back with a verdict. So they took the weekend and they came back this Monday with that mixed verdict. We heard from Bill Fitzpatrick saying he respects what the jury said. We also were told there's going to be perhaps a federal case coming up. So we'll have much more on that. One thing we're going to be on the lookout for. Actually, let's go back out to the courthouse now where another lawyer is now
pushing
speaking.
to the brink of bankruptcy. Docs owes him an apology for putting him in this situation, for failing to train, supervise, and provide leadership in that organization. He wouldn't be here without that.
How's he doing with this verdict?
Heading straight home to his family. That's all he cares about.
Yeah. How has he gotten through this?
Didn't care about Robert Brooks though. Didn't care about smashing him and thrashing him around inside that infirmary. That's what he didn't care. He didn't care about that. And now his attorney's getting up here and saying Docs owes him he said, he's on the brink of financial disaster. All the things that he's been put through. Well, look what happened to Robert Brooks, sir.
Tough time, I imagine.
He sucked it up. That's what he did. And he said, I'm going to go through it. In my heart, I know he didn't do anything wrong. And I'll accept whatever verdict comes from the jury.
You did this, you got this acquittal with not calling a single witness. Do you have any comment on just your strategy there and what it's led to?
The case should never have been brought. The video didn't support the charges against him. The witnesses didn't support the charges against him. He should never have been charged with any offenses whatsoever.
Mr. Kieffer said, his lawyer said that the video actually, he believes, vindicated his client. Do you believe the same?
Absolutely. Without the video and the testimony of Trombley and the other Kessler, he could have been convicted.
None of the officers, until their guilty pleas, or we heard from Nicholas Kieffer, have expressed sorrow for the victim. I just wonder what your team would say about Robert Brooks' death.
Robert Brooks' death was caused by officers who lost it. They were undertrained, poorly supervised, and they work in an environment that's terrible. No excuse for what they did. And we have complete sympathy for Mr. Brooks. I'm a civil rights lawyer. That's what I do. I sue docs. And I took this case because of when I saw the video and when I talked to Matt Galliher.
You said the prosecution charged them all and said that the jury figured them out. Do you feel like these verdicts reflect that?
I don't know. All I can say is with Matt Galliher, he should never have been charged. They should have used their discretion not to charge him.
Does he feel convicted by the public, so to speak? Is the opinions about, is his reputation ruined? Has he suffered from comments from the public these many months?
I'll repeat, he's a man of integrity. He's a man of faith. He knew he didn't do anything wrong, and he was ready to face a jury. He didn't want to, shouldn't have had to, but he was ready to face it.
Say the governor calls you tomorrow looking for an opinion on what docs should change. What are your diagnoses?
I got 2 pages. 2 pages of how they should change, from both the civil rights perspective and from representing Mathew Galliher.
I just don't understand why the jury didn't see the human element here, people. And this is what I talk about. All the shit that bothers me, okay? When we go out and we see people literally getting beat to death on a city street, wherever, somewhere, outside a club, inside a club, what is the first thing that every person around that situation does? What do? I'm going to wait for you guys to tell me in the chat. If someone's outside a club, they're getting kicked in the face, they're getting beaten, they're getting punched to death. What do people do? I'll wait. I know what you all going to say. What is the first thing they do? What's the first thing they do? No. What's the first thing that people do? You're close. And these are all respectable answers. We have call the cops. We have walk by. What's something else that people start doing right away? Something that we can't. Exactly. They start taking their fucking phone out and they start recording. They don't go over and try to break it up or try to say, hey, no, stop. Everybody starts taking their fucking phone out and recording everything. I'm so frustrated by this. I'm beyond irritated.
Concerned about action by the Western District of New York and their federal investigation.
We're always concerned about other jurisdictions. We're not going to accept any plea from them. If they reach out to us, if they want to charge them, we'll deal with it. I don't think they should. I'm hopeful that they learn from the sweeping verdict in Matt's favor not to bring any type of criminal charges against them.
Thank you.
Okay, guys.
Hang on. Sorry. Unless you want us listening to you all day.
No, I
Which I don't think you do. Thank you.
Let's just set up for a shot.
All right. You've been listening to some of the.
Let's go to JB Nichols' video. Again, he was inside the courtroom through the entire trial. He's been reporting this. He did an excellent breakdown of the video that I've played on the channel multiple times. And if you haven't checked them out, please go check them out at thefreelancenews.org. And you can check them out on his channel as well. Let's play this and see what his perspective is of what went wrong.
Yesterday in Utica, New York, one state prison guard was convicted of murder and 2 were acquitted for killing Robert Brooks at the Marcy Correctional Facility last December 9th, 2024. I'm JB Nicholas, and I'm a journalist who covered the trial for the freelancenews.org. My news.
I'm going to try to reach out to JB and see if I can get him on the channel and give us a little bit more perspective and breakdown of what he thought, what went wrong in this. So I'll definitely going to reach out to him, see if I can get him on. And I think he's done some segments with Duty Ron. And again, I'm going to reach out to him and see if I can get him on the show. But let's watch this video and see what he had to say.
Website. I want to talk about the irregularities that I saw throughout this trial that I think infected the fairness of it and led to the acquittal of these 2 officers of murder. So the first irregularity that I witnessed during the trial was the defense lawyers were allowed to make a number of arguments that were based on evidence that was not in the record or didn't exist at all. And some of them can fairly be characterized as straight up lies and disinformation that the defense lawyers, the lawyers for Kieffer, Kingsley, and Galliher were allowed to spew to the jury without objection from the prosecution and without correction from the trial judge, who was Robert Bauer, a former Oneida County prosecutor. So I'll give you an example. In one of their arguments to the jury, David Longaretta, the lawyer for Nicholas Kieffer, argued that when Farina stuffed a rag down Brooks's throat while he was torturing him before he killed him.
He said, oh, he was just wiping his mouth off. Yeah, he's just wiping his mouth off. That's all. He's just cleaning him up.
At the Marcy Correctional Facility. Longaretta argued to the jury that he was just wiping Brooks's face with the rag. Now, everybody knows, just based on looking at the video, that that's false.
100%.
But Longaretta was allowed to make this comment without any evidence whatsoever in the record. And all the defense attorneys argued that Marcy was a dangerous place. And it was so dangerous that these, powder puff snowflake guards, just patently outrageous, needed to protect themselves from a handcuffed prisoner who was 145 pounds, 5'7", and handcuffed behind his back. So There was no evidence.
They had to protect themselves from Robert Brooks, the man that was getting his genitals stomped in so bad that his testicles burst. Okay, that's the guy that they had to protect themselves from. The guy that they were literally picking up off the gurney by his neck and then held him up against the wall until they fucking killed him. That's the guy that because it took 9 guys in that room to fucking subdue Robert Brooks. Because they had to be that way because Brooks was such a threat. It's
put in the record about how dangerous Marcy was, a medium security prison compared to other prisons. Now, let's compare that, for example, with a trial that's going on right now in Brooklyn of a guard, a CO, a federal correction officer who chased a guy through the Brooklyn streets who he thought was trying to help smuggle contraband into the jail. So he actually shot at the car by the Brooklyn Bridge, and he's on trial in federal court. And the defense attorneys in that trial tried to submit all this, submit this evidence that the jail in Brooklyn was insane. And, you can't divorce that reality from the perception of this officer. And that got squashed right away by the trial judge. But in this case, in Brooks's case, Judge Bauer allowed these attorneys to make these false arguments without any basis in the record. So that's one of the main, and this happened repeatedly with other issues. I'm just giving you an example. So that's one of the main irregularities that I witnessed in the Robert Brooks murder trial. Now, the second irregularity that I witnessed occurred on the first day of jury deliberations last Wednesday. So the judge instructed the jury on the law and let them retire for deliberations for about a half hour from 4 to 4:30 last Wednesday. And after 4:30, while the jurors were leaving, before the jurors, let me just back up a little bit. Before jurors in a criminal case leave for the day, the judge instructs them not to discuss the case with each other or anybody else. Deliberations have to happen in the jury room for a number of reasons, and they can't be having these extracurricular deliberations, right? So they're instructed not to talk about the case with anybody else. But yet, here we are on the first day of jury deliberations in the parking lot as 3 jurors are walking to their cars. They're talking about the case. You gotta be kidding me. They walk right by me talking about the case. And not only are they talking about the case, one of the things that I heard them say was that it looks like, one of them said to the other 2, it looks like we're going to be here till next week. Now, that's not really the substance of the trial, right? So I didn't think it was like a big thing at the time. So I didn't mention it to anybody. And besides, I kind of prefer to give people the benefit of the doubt, right? So I don't mention it. But I'm mentioning it now because it raises questions considering all the other irregularities that I saw. So what this comment tells me is immediately at the start of deliberations, there were 2 factions in the jury room who were firmly embedded in their beliefs. One faction believed that all the officers should be acquitted, notwithstanding the video and the evidence, okay? And that's called jury nullification, and that's not supposed to exist in American law. Wow. A prime example of jury nullification is in the South during Jim Crow, that the killers of black men were routinely acquitted by juries, right? And this is sort of where federal prosecutions come in. If a jury does this racist jury nullification, then the feds can come in and prosecute you. So that's what jury nullification is. Now, it can be used, on the other hand, it can be used for things that other people might consider good. Like, for example, selling marijuana, right? When that was illegal, sometimes people would sit on a jury and just refuse to convict for selling marijuana. So that's another example of jury nullification. It has both sides. It's a controversial issue. And so So there were two factions right off the bat. One that believed that none of them should be convicted, and the other faction believed that there should be convictions. So these two factions were at loggerheads from the start. The third irregularity. That, what I just said about the jurors talking to each other, that the importance of that, the significance of that didn't really become clear to me until after the trial, when Kingsley was convicted, but Galliher and Kieffer were acquitted. So what that tells me is that's a classic compromise verdict. That the only way to get out of that jury room for these guys, in their minds,
one guy,
we're going to convict Kingsley because he's on video choking Brooks, but we're going to let these other guys go. And the reason I say I believe that to be the case now, I've done a lot of fact-based reporting. I'm an investigative journalist. Most of my reporting is all based on fact, but right now I'm going to editorialize a little bit. So this is extrapolation from the facts as I witness them. So
what a great journalist to pop that, to square that with his audience, to square that. Like, I'm going to opine here. I'm going to opine a little bit and go off, my regular convictions.
And this is based on my experience covering criminal cases going back to 1991, okay? So
yep, exactly timely.
When the jurors come out of the courtroom, come out of the courthouse after the verdict, the press typically asks them questions. There's a custom. The press can approach jurors. In New York City, they come out of the DA's office and walk to the subway. They don't have an escort or anything. Now, in Oneida County, they had an escort to the parking lot from court officers. So right away, journalists are at a disadvantage because jurors are reluctant to talk in front of the police for fear that they might make them displeasure the police. I'm not even joking about this. So the first group of jurors came out, about 9 of them, and I approached them and I said, hey, I'm a journalist. The public is interested in how you reached your verdict. Can you explain it? And everyone just sort of looked down at their feet. And then suddenly, a young Latina woman stopped in her tracks, turned around, and was hostile and said, we don't want to talk to you, leave. As if she was speaking for the other jurors. So this hostility, and I reacted to that simply by saying, my name is JB Nicholas. I publish the Freelance News. Please feel free to contact me at your will. I'm just going to walk with you here a little while, in case any of you change your mind. And that really upset that woman. Wow. And you would think, her being a young Latina, that maybe she had favored convicting the police. But she was really angry. And I couldn't, I've covered so many trials. I've never encountered hostility from a jury quite like this before. And so it raises a lot of flags, and I'm putting it all together now for you. So then the remainder of the jurors came out, a smaller group, 5 or 6 of them, also under escort. And this time I wasn't alone. Some other reporters had come out of the courthouse at that time and were moving to catch up with the jurors. And again, jurors were hostile. Not only would they decline to talk, they were outright hostile. One reporter from the New York Times asked a journalist, another youngish guy, red hair, looked like he might, play video games and smoke a lot of marijuana on the weekend or something. And, he asked him if he was happy with the verdict. And his answer was, what the fuck do you think? We deliberated it. Okay. So, and it didn't help, by the way, that a court officer was intervening, and he shouldn't have intervened. And he was telling jurors, you don't have to answer their questions. Now, if you're a juror and you're being escorted to your car by a court officer, and the court officer is saying you don't have to talk to them, that's pretty much tantamount to an order not to talk to them for the average juror who's not used to defying police authority, you see? So lot of irregularities and red flags, that I would call them, about the Robert Brooks trial and the way it was conducted. Now, the last thing I'm going to mention is that I made a request for copies of the trial exhibits to the trial judge, Judge Robert Bauer, the former prosecutor, and he denied the request.
What?
These are public records. Trial exhibits or public records. Courts across the nation are unanimous in their judgment that the evidentiary exhibits in a public trial are public records that the public has the right to access.
Right.
Yeah, Judge.
I do records requests. It takes forever to get shit, but I get it. They got to give it up. Wow. This smells filthy dirty. This smells filthy dirty. I definitely got to get JB on the channel. I'm going to reach out to him tonight. I got to get him on here. This smells filthy dirty. Filthy, filthy, filthy dirty.
Bauer suddenly decides that trial exhibits are government secrets.
What?
So there you have it. There's my combined report and sort of analysis. Consider this a news analysis on the Robert Brooks murder trial and what led to the verdict convicting one of the guards and acquitting two of them. JB Nicholas for the freelancenews.org. Please check out my website and donate if you have a chance. We run on donations here. Thank you very much.
All right, I dropped his link in the chat. Please go over, sub up to him, check out his affiliation as well too. All right, let's hear from. We had a family intervene. I don't think this was the day. I think this was the day after the verdict. They had a small gathering, and we'll play this here. And they call out for prison reform after the verdict. Here we go.
Authority given to the Corrections Association of New York. Governor Hochul must sign the Robert Brooks bill, no amendments. Let there be no more beatings, no more deaths, no more brutality against helpless men and women.
I do
We
coffee.
are
Yep.
people
I
of
do have it.
faith
Yep.
who believe in redemption.
Great. So I'm going to talk a little bit, and I'm going to keep it very real with people. We have to have these common sense bills passed. But if people understood, when I think about training officers, I'm going, you know what? It didn't take, if they had just followed their humanity, we wouldn't be in this place. Because it doesn't take training to let you know that you don't jump on somebody and beat them and kick them and choke them and do everything else that is vile. That is wrong. So where are we getting these people from that they can actually turn to do things that are actually, at the end of the day, evil? I don't know how else to put it. I don't know how else to put it. How do we bring that humanity back to people? When I was in prison, you know, I almost got written up because I'm a light-skinned Puerto Rican. They almost wrote me up for destroying state property. I was the state property. Why? Because I got a sunburn while I was in the yard. I'm state property. That is a psychological trauma. It is part of, Ronnie Minter was right, it is part of that plantation mentality that happens on a consistent basis. Now, the judicial part of this case with Robert Brooks is basically almost over. There's one more that's going to trial. It's almost over. Now it's in the hands of the governor and the legislature. Here's one of the bills. They must let the family know that their child, son, brother, cousin, whoever it is in their relation has been killed. We have to have someone tell you that you should contact the family. Do you know how I get news about my nephew when he's in prison? Little Jojo tells his Auntie Tina, and Auntie Tina goes up and tells my auntie, and then they call us, and then we have to call the prison because the administration does not tell us that something is wrong with our children or our brothers or our sisters. I mean, by God, is that not common sense? We're talking about common sense legislation. But I can't believe that we actually even have to legislate that. Why in the world do you have to legislate that? You have to legislate that you can't beat a man's arms when they're sticking out? We have to literally pass laws to say this? It boggles my mind. It boggles my mind and everyone here. There is absolutely no way that, and if we're going to talk about injustice, let's talk about this injustice with HALT. I don't know if any of you, some of you in the back of me probably know what SHU is, solitary housing unit. Okay, you have an infraction, they send you to the solitary housing unit. I've seen women doing 5-7 years. I had a woman with me who actually, they put a ball and chain on her ankle to take her to the hearing. And women that have been in prison with me know exactly who I'm talking about. That is medieval. That is medieval. It should be completely unconstitutional. There have been instances that I have seen officers, I mean, I thought my eye socket was going to be crushed. I was maybe 110 pounds soaking wet when I was young and in Rikers Island. And that officer hit me for refusing to serve a dead rat that was in the beef stew to the women, because the women started banging on the walls and they wanted their food. I wasn't giving it to them. Yo, CO, I'm not serving this. Instead, I get a punch in the face, slide all the way down, and then get put in lock. But today, what are they doing 23 hours a day? Whether or not you committed an infraction, well, I don't care if you call it keep lock, I don't care if you call it administrative whatever, there is a law on the books that has been suspended by Governor Hochul. It's been suspended indefinitely. Why? We all said this was the right thing to do. Why are people only being out 1 hour a day? Why can't the chaplains, why can't they actually have their services right now? Why they're being paid by the Department of Corrections to do a job that they cannot do because they won't allow them to come? Why are all the programs deleted? Why are college programs are not available right now? At least 2 have been canceled right now. How about the fact that there was a hunger strike at Mid-State Correctional Facility? The godmother, who was the Republican mayor, told me, and I quote, she told me just like this. She said, if they're going to torture and abuse him, they might as well have executed him. He's doing 87 years in prison. I don't think maybe he should come home. Now, mind you, I'm not in agreement on everything she said, but I get the idea. What she's saying is we get sentenced to time. That is painful enough and allows us to reflect on the things that we have done. I happen to be guilty of my crimes. I did that stuff. But when I went into the prison system, I had to gauge what kind of life I wanted. I had to have the ability to redeem myself, to actually go after redemption. But if I am kicked, beaten, abused, raped, let's not forget that there are over 1,200 cases from Avion Correction Facility alone around women being absolutely abused. Right. I want to tell you, it happens. I have seen it happen. I have seen my friend Savage walk with me through the Sally Port in the prison, tells me she is sick and she looks like a little boy, and the response is, I got something for her that'll go cure her, if you know what I'm saying. The next day, that young lady was dead. Dead. And that happened years ago. Years ago. That means this has been continuing, and it is worse today. It is worse because there is no accountability. We need a bill. We need to move accountability to an independent state. It's like the police actually policing themselves. It's not going to work. We need an independent body. And when my friend Robert Ricks, the father of Robert Brooks, called me, there was nothing else I could do. But it compelled me, and I'm so grateful for you and your family. And my heart goes out to you so much. It really does. You know, and Robert is my dear friend. And I am telling you, whether it's Messiah Natsui, whether it's this young man who is an amazing young man, amazing. Amazing. He's working, he's doing the right thing. He has his own child. He has his own child. He ain't out there on them streets. They didn't raise the family like this. His father, his granddad works with the students constantly. My grandkids went to my grandkids were in his father's program. There's no way that this should happen. I want to thank you all. Please tell Kathy Hochul, sign this bill, but remember, we ain't leaving because it's not enough. It's not enough to just say we're going to call the families when their child is dead. It's not enough to say we're going to do a study. It's not enough. Sign these common sense bills so we could get to the real deal here. Okay? All right. Thank you. We are going to take some questions, if any need to be taken at this point. If any press have any questions. Seeing no questions, I'm going to tell all of you, thank you so much for coming out. Thank you so much for supporting this family. Albany showed up for the Brooks family. They're going to show up for the Natsui family. They're going to show up for the Nixon family. They're going to show up when Ronnie Nixon comes around. We're going to show up. And I appreciate y'all for doing this. Thank you so much. Sign that bill. 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 If the press would like, there's a press conference at 11:30 on the 3rd floor. Any of you who would like to go and stop the industrial development agencies and their nonsense to support our children, feel free to go on the 3rd floor of this Capitol. Thank you all so much.
Oh boy. Ah. I just don't get it. I don't get what this jury saw or didn't see. But JB, his reporting makes a lot of sense. The two groups, the one that's set to go in and convict, and then there's that one or a few people that are there to acquit. And let's just get in there, split it down the middle, we'll convict one guy and let the other two walk. And that's what happened. So we have one more trial that's set in January. That's for, I believe his last name is Fisher. And you got to be wondering, if you're these other CEOs, you're probably sitting there saying, I should have taken my shot with a jury. I'd probably be walking around right now. That's probably what they're thinking. But it's sad. It's a sad state of affairs. And the Brooks family still has a lot of work to do. And hopefully the feds get involved in this and, criminally prosecute these guys. So we'll just have to see what happens. But I'm sure that, hopefully something's in the works. And listen, Fitzpatrick did a amazing job prosecuting this case. I'm sure he feels horrible that he couldn't bring convictions to all three of these guys. But, that's the thing about a jury. You never know what is going to happen inside a jury room. You never know what's going to happen when you turn it over to a jury's hands. And, unfortunately, in my opinion, they got this one wrong. This is a grave injustice to the Brooks family. This is a grave injustice to anyone that has to go through any ordeal like this ever again. I think, and I'm sorry, I forget the chat, the person that put it in the chat, you're basically saying the failure to intervene and the failure to write a proper report in the prison system is okay now. That's basically what this jury is saying to the public. especially in the state of New York. And it's really sad and it's sick. It's sick and it's sad. And I wish I could change it. I know everybody in the chat wishes they could change it, but it's just the way it is. It's the way it is. So very sad news. And again, my heart goes out to the Brooks family. That jury just didn't get it right. They didn't get it right. They didn't get it right. All right, everybody. Short show tonight. I'm tired. I'm going to get some rest. I'm going to be out at the JFK Halloween party tomorrow night. Out there hanging out with some content creators and supporters, and should be a great time. So maybe I'll stream a little bit. I'll stream a little bit from the party so you all can see what's going on. But yeah, good to see everybody here on this Thursday night. I've been meaning to do the stream. I've just been behind. We had a phenomenal stream yesterday with Mark Mazzamedia and Mike from the Young Jerks. We did a fundraiser for Mike for his defense fund. So if you haven't watched that stream, go back and check it out. Please, check that out. Oh, cool. Making changes. Cool, man. Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to see you tomorrow. But yeah, I'm going to be out there, the JFK Halloween party. I'm looking forward to seeing that. I haven't seen some people in a long time. Be nice to catch up with people in person and come out. It's going to be a real positive time. I'm sure it's going to be a great time. If you're in and around the Massachusetts area, please come out and say hi, shake hands, and let's have some fun. And listen, I appreciate all of you being here, the members, the supporters that come here and support the channel and the chat. This channel continues to grow in the algorithm. We gain new subscribers every single day. And, I just want to continue to keep elevating the LTL platform. And we will do that here. You guys have all been amazing supporters of mine through thick and thin. And we're just going to keep our eyes on the prize, keep talking about these cases and bringing experts that can come up on panel and give us their interpretation of what's going on and lend their expertise. We've done that with Todd and Nan on Monday nights. We've had other creators that have come in and give us, their kind of look and their side of the story on things that we're covering. And I'm very excited about the future of LTL. Really am. So you all have been amazing. I appreciate all of you. I love all of you. And if you haven't subscribed and you're in the chat room tonight, subscribe. It's free to do that. Come over and watch the live shows. Again, I don't care if there's one person or 1,000 people in the chat room, as long as I can reach new people through this platform. That's what we want to do here and keep expanding the LTL platform and expanding our audience. And I know a lot of you watch on replay. I always see it in the comments. Oh, I couldn't watch it live, but I watched on replay. I love all you replayers too. Thank you so much for doing that. And thank you for continuing to support me here. Again, I'll see you guys back on Saturday night. I'm going to have Vincent from Garden State Accountability on, and we're going to talk about Spitgate because it's very important to me. And I'll tell you why I continue to talk about this. You have people that are on a council. You have a mayor that has made, in my opinion, false statements to the public, to the people of Groton, to the people in this nation about this said spitting incident. And the reason I've been so hardcore about this is I know the people that were there, and I'm going to show you. Believe me, I got all the evidence, and I can't wait to go through it on Saturday. But I want to show the world that the people that went there that day, Vincent, Sean from Long Island Audit, Leroy Truth Investigations, and their crew that went there, they're good people. And there was no, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm trying to think of the word and I can't. I'm stuck. But they didn't do anything wrong. And I'm going to prove that to you because I don't want their reputation put out there by a lying mayor and a lying town manager and people that are lying on the council to smear their reputation. Because if you're putting false information out there and you are in power and you are lying about something, then what else are you lying about? What else are you lying about? So we're going to put all that to rest. I'm going to show some newly discovered video that has come up. and it's going to put this thing hopefully to bed. And then I will be back during the next council meeting in Groton, Connecticut, and I will challenge Mayor Franco, and I will speak to John Burt again and see if they want to backtrack and give us their apology. And believe me, I have some things up my sleeve when I'm going to go. We're going to probably have some visuals, and we will talk about that. So I'll see you guys back on Saturday, 6 p.m. with Vincent from Garden State Accountability. And we're going to get into some new video that has surfaced, and we're going to break it all down. So I cannot wait to get into that. Again, I love all of you. Thank you so much for your support, and we will continue to grow the LTL platform here. Please make sure to like the stream before you head out, and I appreciate all of you, and I will see you soon. Everybody have a great Thursday night, a great Friday. If I happen to see you at the party, please come up, say hi, and I'll talk to everybody soon. Bye, everybody. Have a good night. Peace.